Nu of nooit. Dat is het motto waarmee de Britse Labour-partij overmorgen de verkiezingen ingaat. Oppositieleider Tony Blair heeft zijn partij in de winning mood gebracht. Want de verwachting is dat Labour voor de eerst in 18 jaar de macht van de conservatieven overneemt. Maar wat voor een Labour-regering zal dat worden? De partij is niet meer dezelfde als in de jaren 70. Na 4 verkiezingsnederlagen op rij zette Blair het mes in Labour. De scherpe kantjes van het socialisme werden afgeveild en de partij schoof op naar het midden. Nieuw Labour is niet de spreekbuis van alleen de arbeider, maar ook van de zakenman. Maar voelt de traditionele Labour-stemmer zich dan nog wel thuis in de partij? Correspondent Jeroen Akkermans van het RTL Nieuws in Londen maakte een portret van de trouwe Labour-aanhang in Liverpool. De havenstad in het noordwesten van Engeland is altijd een bolwerk van socialisten geweest. De dokwerkers namen vaak het voortouw in de strijd om rechten voor de arbeidersklasse. En vroeger hoefden ze maar te kikken of de haven ging plat en dan volgde de rest. Maar met de opkomst van de werkloosheid verdween de solidariteit onder arbeiders. Ruim 400 ontslagen dokwerkers die al 19 maanden actie voeren om hun baan in de haven van Liverpool terug te krijgen, staan er dus alleen voor. We volgen ook enkele leden van de familie Holmes, van huis uit Labour-stemmers. Zij blikken terug op het militante verleden van de partij. Voelen zij zich nog thuis bij Labour of keren ze zich af van Tony Blair? Als de Labour-partij haar trouwe aanhang verliest, dan wankelt de verwachte verkiezingsoverwinning. Kijkt u naar de documentaire Labour is dood, leven nieuw Labour.
Liverpool on Merseyside has grown through the centuries into one of the greatest seaports and ware commerce of the sea, and the daily lives of countless workers are governed by the intricate details connected with commerce and shipping. As we approach across the water, the docks become clearer in the smoke and haze, and we get an impressive picture of the huge area they cover. To reach any part of them, we must change onto the Liverpool Overhead Railway, another world-famous feature of Merseyside, which links up the 70 docks and 28 miles of yards and warehouses.
Life goes on day after day. Hearts torn in every way. So ferry cross the Mersey, 'cause this land's the place I love, and here I'll stay.
Well, in the 60s there was 17 miles of docks and close on 30,000 dockers. There's less than 10% of that now, and partly through automation, but we've lost the business. The ships stopped coming, the factories started closing, the town lost its population, and it looks like I'm stuck here.
'Cause this land's the place I love, and here I'll stay, and here I'll stay. Here I'll stay.
Liverpool is a lot more depressing than when I was a young lad in the 60s. It's been divided by competition and united by poverty. People who want a better life have left. People who dream that things will get better have stayed, and they're not getting better, they're getting worse.
I met him in
party.
No, I met you in the first time I saw you. I met you in Annie's, in the sister-in-law's. She was a friend of mine, and he was sitting there on his little moustache, you know, old handsome Jack. He was very kind, good father, always looking for work, because he was a building worker. And he used to walk for miles. If we had no money for his train fare, he used to walk for miles. And he's always provided for me and the kids. So he likes to drink. Got to have something, hasn't he?
I loved her and I still love her. She's lovely. And been a very good mother to the children. They all love her. Couldn't say any more than that. Been a very good wife to me.
Thank you. If anybody was hard up, we all helped each other. Now, before we moved to Seymour Street, when we lived in the tenements, each time I had a baby, the old lady next door would come in with a big bowl of chicken soup and lovely dumplings, and they'd be light as a feather. But she used to make sure that I had my food, you know, my nourishment. And all the neighbours there were all brilliant, really lovely people.
Goodbye, Daddy, while you're away, and don't forget your old pal. Goodbye, Aunt, while you're away, send me letters, tell me when you're better. Goodbye, Aunt, while you're away, and don't forget your old pal.
On a Christmas morning, there was a van used to come round. They used to call it Father Christmas. I don't know whether Methodists or Wesleyans, I can't tell you which. It belonged to Central Hall. I think they were Quakers or something. They used to come round on a Christmas morning with a van, and they'd give each little child a little underwear and a little penny and a doll. And that's all them children ever got. There was no Santa Claus. The good old days. It was no good old days. But kissed.
This is my mother. She's a wonderful mother, the best in the world for me.
We try to bring them up right and, you know, give them their morals and ethics and whatever. And they all, as children, they all cared for each other. Because I had so many children. You know, a lot to look after, 11 children. So the older ones helped with the younger ones. And they helped each other, and they had homework to do and they were stuck. The bigger ones would help the younger ones, you know. And we tried to make them see that family, you've got to love each other. You must love each other and help each other.
I knew a crippled woman named Mrs. Broadhurst, and I used to say to her, "Hey sis, what are you eating?" She, "I'm eating me cornflakes." And she took them for years and years. And I say to my daughter-in-law sometimes, "Oh, Annie, you poor mother with the cornflakes." She said, "You smell that. Kept my mum alive, them cornflakes. They must have been good." Well, you'd think Annie would give that to the kids, wouldn't you? I think she does now.
Yes, I am.
None of my mates are in yet.
Seven and 2, 72. 1 and 8, 18. 7 and 3, 73. 3 and 8, 38. On a tune, number 1. 7 and 9, 79. 3 and 6, 36. 7 and 2, 72. 1 and 8, 18. 7 and 3, 73. 3 and 8, 38. On a tune, number 1. 7 and 9, 79.
This is Dos. Old friend of mine.
Friends, aren't we? Did you hear about poor Harry Bennett?
Yeah. Getting buried on Friday, isn't he?
Yeah. Friday.
That's all you hear, isn't it? That's
Sad.
it's about time we had some good news, like
Isn't
getting
it?
the Labour
Like
government back.
That's true. That's true. A win on the lottery. A few bob on the lottery. Hey.
I think I am bingo, please. Where's your lady I'm playing with Dos. Yeah, yeah. No. Dora won the bingo. Oh, did she, Dora? She won £4.
They brought the National Health Service out. Everything was supposed to be free. It wasn't. You paid it through insurance at work. And you got free teeth, free spectacles, free hospitals, free everything. It was paid by the national insurance. And when, after a couple of years, they realised it was just a dream. And they couldn't control it because people are too greedy. When the things were free, they were going for 2 sets of false teeth, 4 sets of glasses, wigs. Anything slightly wrong with them, they were off work, getting sick pay. It was just greed, it wouldn't allow socialism to work.
Every community had its own line of pubs that built up a community spirit. People got to know each other and whatever. All these pubs are closing at an alarming rate. So it breaks that breaks down some of the barriers like that are being created now. People are not talking to each other on the road. I mean, there used to be loads and loads of sailors spending their money in town. They used to liven up the bars in town, the sailors. There'd be hundreds and hundreds of them in town. The people of Liverpool had a pride in the city in the 60s. They haven't got that pride now. People who was working, they was useful, and they was proud. I mean, when you've worked and done something, created something, you go home at the end of the day and you're proud. Well, in the 60s, you had a choice. You had a choice of what you wanted to do, really. Now, any job will do.
Well, I've been a bricklayer since I was 15. I'm now 46 and a half, and I'd say it's getting more and more difficult, and the wages are going down and down. Basically, it's a struggle from one week to another. I don't know whether I'm going to get finished next week, or I just don't know. I take home £202 a week now. That's for a 39-hour week. And 20 years ago, I was taking home, one job I had, £280 a week. And that was 20 years ago. So, where do you go from here? Everything's gone through the roof as far as prices are concerned, and the price of food, and even the likes of a car. You can't afford a car in these sort of wages. I can only just about afford to pay my mortgage. It's very depressing to think that you might be unemployed and not be able to pay your mortgage. See, that's always the killer. You've always got the buying your house. You know, everyone walks into this situation where they buy their house, and it becomes an obsession, buying a house, and really all it does is it puts a millstone around your neck. But it's the only thing that drives you on.
I was unemployed for 7 years. I was hard, like, you know, struggled to make ends meet and that, and I just basically sitting around the house watching television, you know, nothing to do. Horrible. It's not nice. It isn't a nice feeling. Not nice at all. But when you're working, you've got something to look, something to get up for, something to go out there for.
We had no one labouring on us, so I said, do you know anyone? I said, well, I've got a brother there who's unemployed. He came with us and he's been with us since. This is my younger brother.
This is my big brother. This is my big brother.
My younger brother. The baby. Some baby.
Big baby, still in nappies. The only way you get a job is through family or whatever. You know, you're nice after jobs. The jobs, no chance. There's like, you can go for a job and there'll be like 500 people applying for the same job. You know, what chance have you got there? I've got no qualifications or nothing.
He's still only learning the job. He's not good at it, but he's willing, and he'll work till he drops. And that's the way it goes. You work till you drop. And it's never been any different. But now, they seem to want more and more and more and pay you less and less.
Another day dawns gray. It's enough to make me spit. But we go on our way, just putting up with it. And when I try to make my feelings known to you, you sound like you have changed from red to blue.
So I'm my boss here. So if I don't like what I'm doing, I can't sack me. And I decide my prices, and if someone looks as if they haven't got what I'm charging, I just charge less. And they come back to me again. So it's Tom now then.
I don't think the working class will ever fade away. It's just that working people have got more now than they had. They are the different people anyway. Your ordinary working class people used to just get by the skin of their teeth. Well, people want more than that now.
about people asking for more and more and more? Is it called progress or is it called greed?
Progress, I would think. You know, you're seeing so much on television of people that have got so much, and people will not live with the bare amenities anymore. They want more. The ordinary man on the street now is not just, you know, he wants to work and he wants his own house. "20 years ago, people had jobs. That was the difference there. They worked. I know they didn't have televisions, videos, flashy cars, but they worked. They had respect for themselves. People haven't got that now. If you've got a job now, you've got to hold on to it. You've got to. So you're frightened to rebel.
Scummy! Scumbags! Go and get yourself a proper job! No scabs! Scab! Scab! No fussy! No fat scab! Scab! Scumbags! Scab!
And what they're looking at what the dock company's got away with in the last 16 months. They've sacked the labour force and introduced another labour force on £4,000 a week less than they were paying us. And the rest of the port is being run with casual, cheap labour, agency labour, with no holiday pension or sickness entitlements. And that's what's happening in this country. They reckon there's 1 million people on part-time working for agencies in this country. That's what we've got to stop. Not for us. 200 of the lads that were sacked are over 50, so we're fighting for the youth.
The Conservative government made it possible for Mersey Docks and Harbour Company to lawfully sack us from our place of employment. The unfortunate part for us is that because it was deemed to be a legal act, then the Labour Party and the Transport and General Workers Union deserted us at that time. And they hide now behind the very laws that make it impossible for the trade unionists in this country to fight. The unions and the Labour Party hide behind the anti-trade union laws.
You see lorries taking containers in and out of the docks, and they're part of our union, so that makes us angry. And certainly, to see guys going in that are doing our jobs, jobs that we've had for 30 to 40 years, and we see guys going in on a casual basis.
Suppose you feel proud, there, eh? Go ahead! Hey, shit out! Get your fucking head down! Suppose you feel proud, there, eh? Come on, swat! Maggot! Hey! Go ahead! Hey, swat! Come on! Swat! Hey, two pound! You feel proud in there, do you, eh? You feel proud in there, eh? Hey, you! How low can you get, you prick? You scumbag, you! Get down like a fucking rabbit! What's he done?
What's he done? What did I do? He's done nothing, him. He's done nothing, him. That's your consultation, though. That's your consultation.
It's an offence in this country to obstruct the highway. Vehicles have a right to enter the dock complex to go to work. These sacked dock workers, when they blockade the road the way they did, they are committing an offence in English law. When police officers arrive, they're told about this offence, and they're told that if they do not behave, they will be arrested.
This is what we've got to put up with. 68, 62-year-old that man, never been a bit of bother to anyone in 15 months, and you get the likes of these coming along doing that.
got all that on video.
Probably, basically.
We're fine here. We stand here every day. Every day we're here. I know, don't worry about it. You'll go down like that.
Well, I think the dockers, I think they're really brave because they've been out now for a long time. It's months and months. And I'd love them to win. But this government won't let them, especially in Liverpool and Merseyside. They won't let them. They won't, because we were always the people they tried it out on. It was always the Liverpool, you know. I mean, we're strong. We're very, very strong people. And if they can beat us down, they can beat everybody.
Oh, yes! Scab you! Scab!
Is he the bussy, look? Scab in a cab. Is he the bussy?
So what do you think is the biggest difference between you and the dockers?
They are solid, we're not. The building trade has never been solid. It's gone even worse. Now everyone just wants to grab all they can. All the best parts of the job, if you understand what I mean. They come in and it's a free-for-all, know what I mean? It's not me, I must be honest, I'm not a grabber in that way. But sometimes I wish I was like that. The bottle's gone out of everyone. The guts. They're all terrified. As I say, the millstone around the neck, the mortgage thing. I think that's got everyone terrified, because you can be put out on the street.
The dispute started in September, late September 1995, when we refused to cross a picket line that was mounted at these gates here. And we have been in dispute. We're not actually on strike because we don't have an employer, but we've been in dispute for 18 months since then. And we have a number of people existing on minimum amounts of social security benefit, and other people such as myself who get by and exist mainly through donations from friends and supporters around the world.
The fact that we can't run a car anymore and haven't done since last April, it isn't important, it doesn't matter. It doesn't add anything to my life. It got me places quicker, now I've got to walk. But so what? I'm not going to die because we haven't got a car, and this is how we all feel. You see, I buy, these are the Heinz beans are 32 pence. I would normally have bought them. Now I buy no frills for 9 pence. No. And the thing is, you discover when you do start buying brand names that they're usually just as good as what you were paying double for anyway. We've got solidarity. It's a tradition on the docks that people stand together, because they fought casual labour in the past. It's within living memory, and the older dockers don't want that back for the next generation, because they fought that battle and won it, and we're not going to let go of the gains we've made. I can't tell you how the solidarity makes you feel. It's really uplifting, and I feel that we're carrying the struggles of the whole of the working class on our shoulders, and we're quite happy to do it. I don't care how long it takes. I don't care how long I've got to live like this. I will do it because it's a just cause. We're fighting for justice, and we'll have justice. I don't care what it takes.
Get in there!
They offered £28,000 each for 329 men, £2,000 each for 10 men and nothing at all for the rest of the men. And we refused the offer because we don't wish to accept a severance payment. We merely wish to be returned to our old jobs back in the port of Liverpool. We are only interested in jobs.
But I become more cynical as well. I mean, I found when I was a shop steward that my enemy wasn't the work for us. It was the people who was representing, some of them. I mean, there was. If I went in and got somebody a rise, they'd be happier if he didn't get the rise. Instead of one getting it, they'd be happy if no one gets it. I mean, the enemy of the working class is the working class. They're like lobsters in a pot, pulling each other back. Are they? Maybe that's human nature, I don't know. So I was disillusioned. Very. So I just took a back seat all early. Got on with my life. Started enjoying my life. Not worrying about everybody else.
In 14 months, 14 years, what difference does it make? Hey, hey, you just got to get up in the morning and believe you're a man, and that's all it takes. It's not that hard, seriously. Well, people think it is, but it's not that hard, it's quite easy.
Mostly militants I dealt with lunatics. They wanted things too far. I wouldn't call myself a militant, no. Active trade unions, but not militants. We went on strike, and I didn't want to go on strike. Do you know what? I can't even remember what it was for, but I didn't agree. But I wasn't a union steward or anything, so I had to just follow the lead, and I didn't agree with it. It was something ridiculous. Oh, I know what it was. We worked in Manchester, and we had a luxury coach to take us to work, which I'd never been used to. I was getting on in my 40s then, you know. And they went on strike because they didn't have a radio. They didn't have a radio on the bus to give them the racing results. And they went on strike.
I'm going uphill, way up in the hillside. I'm going higher than I've ever been before. And swim by me over the horizon, wading in the river, reaching for that other shore. I dreamed I saw a tree full of angels up on Primrose Hill, and I flew with them over the great wind till I had seen my fill of such poverty and misery, should tear my soul apart. I've got a socialism of the heart. I've got a socialism of the heart. I'm going.
I don't know if it was right or wrong, but I was always on the side of the working man. I always stayed with the majority because I'm a socialist. But often I didn't agree with the strikes. They weren't always right. But they weren't always wrong neither. I don't become a bit of a coward.
Well, at 73, I suppose you're entitled to become a coward.
I'm sorry, boys.
1, 2, 3, 4, up. 3, 4.
I need you out the way for this, okay? Because it's busy, okay? So I need you behind these people here, okay?
He's a smashing fella, you know what I mean? Like, he's got our full support anyway. After the whole factory, you can see that, like, you know.
What do you say to traditional socialist voters who feel lost between old and new Labour?
New Labour is good for traditional Labour people because they wanted a Labour Party that can modernise the country and is up to date and in touch with people. So it's good for people, whether they're traditional Labour voters or not. They wanted a Labour Party that can be elected.
When the Labour Party takes control in Britain after this election, there will be noticeable differences in the way that the country is run. The priorities that people are crying out to be addressed in the health service, crime on the streets, in education and in employment opportunities are at the top of the Labour Party's agenda. We're going to run the economy properly. We're not going to tax and spend. We're not going to do boom and bust like the Conservatives did. We're going to run the economy strongly and tightly, but relevant to creating wealth and opportunity for as many people as possible.
I don't feel that Labour are representing my interests or the interests of my family. I'll think before I go to the ballot box this time. If there's a socialist Labour candidate or a socialist candidate, they'll get my ex. I'm not just going to give a Labour candidate a free ride and a decent salary, and he's not representing me.
The feeling, especially on this picket line, you know, is that we've got to send a message out to Tony Blair that he's got to come out in support of this dispute, and certainly he's got to come out in saying that he's going to get rid of these trade union laws.
The situation that exists in the Mersey docks is that unfortunately those workers have been dismissed, but they've been legally dismissed. Now, to say whether the law is right or not is not the job for me. That's what the law lords put across. But once it is a legal action that's been taken, it's very difficult for any party or any trade union or any representative body to dispute that. I mean, that is the legal fact.
It might mean changing the law again.
Well, it would mean looking at laws. I mean, we'll see what happens about changing laws, but we will look at laws and we will look at the way that management and business works, and we will make sure that management and business recognises that one of its greatest assets is the workforce.
I mean, I haven't got great confidence in this Labour, the Labour Party at the moment. Because they look very like the Tories, they sound very like the Tories. But they're better of a bad bunch. I I mean, they couldn't realistically get up in a cloth cap today. You know, they've got to be in a suit, and they've got to be, because it just wouldn't work, it wouldn't wash in today's society for a man to get up with a lunch box under his arm and a cloth cap on.
Is the Labour Party still a working class party?
We're a party that has got appeal across classes, and it's a party that's based on certain key values.
Working class values?
I think they're not just working class values, they're middle class values too. You know, people want a decent society in which to live in, and know that's the best prospect for the individual. Right.
Old Labour probably didn't do anything wrong. Old Labour just didn't grow quick enough. The problem's that when Mrs Thatcher came in 1979, the country was looking for new leadership, new ideas, new direction. During that whole time, though, unfortunately, the Labour Party didn't communicate a message. In the late 80s, the Labour Party started to grow politically. It started to expand its influences. It used to listen to more advice, started meaningful communications with business people, with decision makers, with industrialists. The size of the party started to grow.
The people up north carry on voting Labour, because maybe they've gone right-wing as well. Maybe the people have gone right-wing. Well, I'm one of them. I mean, I own my own house, I have a holiday abroad. So maybe it was the right thing to go more right, I don't know.
Yes, I'm going to come say hello. There you go. Dispatches, that's what's troubling me. When I thought
Tony Blair is handsome Jack, like, isn't he? Real clean boy. But if he's good, if he really means what he says, well, we'll have to put it to the test.
Those people who voted Labour time and time and time again are more likely perhaps to be in the communities that will benefit directly from a new Labour government. I mean, people have always wanted a Labour government. I mean, I myself have always voted for the Labour Party. But this Labour Party now, the new Labour Party, is talking economic sense. It's talking about practicalities to the business world, but it's also talking about realities to ordinary families. I think there's an excitement amongst traditional Labour voting people that this time they're going to get a Labour government.
What do you think of Blair when you see him on telly?
I think he's all right. I think he's all right. I think he'll. They had to change the image, didn't he? You know, when he was the perfect. He was the man for the job, wasn't he? I think if John Smith would have been there, I think he would have been better. But Blair's there now, and he, you know, the blue suit and the pearly white seat and the hairs on and all that. I think that's the way they had to go, didn't they? They had to come out of the dark ages, you know, the all militant and all that.
It's a bit of a blow. It's a bit of blow to the society when you've got to look the part instead of. It is, isn't it? Well, that's the way it is. That's instead of your policies or the way you treat your fellow human beings. Personally, I'm going to give them one shot.
I think they like New Labour. They see it as a changed Labour Party that's capable of taking this country through to the future and doing the things on behalf of all the people of the country, not just a Tory establishment at the top.
And convinced it's going to be reflected around the rest of the country?
Tony,
thanks
very
much.
I hope so.
Super then.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks a lot, Ben. All the best to you.
Yeah,
Big cheers for Tony!
All the best to you. Thanks very much. Thank you. All the best.
Who's celebrating a birthday?
Mary!
Mary. Right, are we going to sing happy birthday to Mary?
Yeah.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Mary. Happy birthday to you. Hip, hip.
'cause you gotta let it out if you wanna let it in. You gotta let a little bit of loving in and make it all begin. You gotta find time, pick the right time and make a change. 'Cause it's a fine time to pick the right time and make a change.
See, the new Labour can learn from us the way we are in our family. We care for each other and we help each other all we can. So if New Labour can do that, that's through socialism. And I think that'll be good for the country. And they want to educate the people about caring for each other.
I wouldn't say they're perfect. Nobody has a perfect family. But they do well. They all work, there's no smackheads or anything. I'm the worst behaved of a lot of them. I like to sing. If I could just hold your hand, just once in my heart, my life would be complete. If you went away, dear, I don't seem the same. Please come back again. But after all that I've done, there's only one girl on my dreams. It's you.
When you walk through a storm, hold your head up high and don't be afraid of the dark. At the end of a storm, there's a golden sky and the sweet silver sound of a lark. Walk on